Hi, it is Brain Injury Awareness Month, and today I am going live with Maha. So I'm going to actually invite her on here, and we're going to talk about her journey after brain injury and really how she is back to life. So Maha, I see you in here, and while I'm getting you in, I also just want to say welcome. If we haven't met, my name is Julie Hirschberg, and I am a neurologic physical therapist, the owner and founder of Reactive Therapy and Wellness, where I get to work alongside our team. Invited her in. She's going to join us live and share a bit of her story and what she is doing now, which I always learn the most from people who have experienced the injury, who are living life. And Ma, I think I just accepted your invitation here to bring you in, and really excited to share the story because it is Brain Injury Awareness Month. And I think it's so important to share stories and journeys that people are on as they are living with brain injury. And let's see, Maha. Um, Let me try to add you on here again. Um, let's see. Um, let's see. I just got a message that said you were unable to join, Maha. And I'm just gonna try this again. Um, and see if this works. So, we at Reactive, we have a concussion and brain injury program where we work with people anywhere from a week or a few days to 4 weeks to 8 weeks, depending on their symptoms and what they're needing, working with physical therapy, occupational therapy, psychology, speech therapy if needed. And yes, Baha, we made it. Hello, welcome.
Hi, I can't see you, but can you see me?
I can see you. You look great.
Okay, thanks. I'm wearing my reactive gear.
Oh, no brain, no gain. I love it. I'm also wearing my reactive gear today. Ma, thank you so much for taking some time today to join us. I know it's lunchtime, your time in New York. And we typically have people joining us from all over the world. So thank you. And I wonder if you can share a little bit of your story with brain injury. I was kind of sharing with everybody how it's Brain Injury Awareness Month, and sharing stories is so important. So yeah, if you want to introduce yourself and kick us off.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for inviting me here. And also thank you to the reactive team. It's just been such a um, critical care that I received for my brain injury. So my name is Maha Khan, and I'm in New York City right now. And I had a traumatic brain injury in June 2021. There was a bleed to the brain, and I was a victim of a crime, unfortunately, here in New York City. And I was discharged after a night, so I was very lucky. And I was told I could do anything I wanted upon leaving, except contact sport, which I don't do anyway. And I'd never had a concussion. I'd never had a migraine, so I didn't know what to expect. And 2 days later, I was back in the emergency room with like nausea, dizziness, just feeling very bad. Um, and so since then, it's been quite a journey of advocating for myself, finding services on my own that would help me doing research at a time where you can't, like, I couldn't really look at the screen. I had light sensitivity, noise sensitivity, my head would hurt, nausea, dizziness, all of that. So I'm happy to share my story because that's how I learned about yours and other services.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have a common story as far as like the symptoms, the screen sensitivity, light sensitivity, sound sensitivity, and um at while you were experiencing those symptoms, what was happening for you in your life? I mean, were you still able to work and do other things during that time?
No, I wasn't able to work. The doctors, actually, the neurologist I found, told me to take it was either a month or 6 weeks off. And my work is very screen heavy, office environment.
Mhm.
My work was very understanding. And then we planned to come back part-time, like 4 hours a day, but I couldn't do that, so we had to reduce to like 2 hours a day for 3 to 4 months. It was really challenging, and I was living in New York City, which is not conducive to recovering from brain injury because, I would go, I found a neurologist who helped me, who signed me up for occupational vision therapy, physical therapy, and vestibular therapy. So the three of them at the same while I had time off of work, but also during work, and just going to physical therapy on a bus was like so difficult. And of course, you also have trauma from the incident, right? So your
Right.
nervous system all off anyway.
Yeah.
So like I cut physical therapy short because we felt like the going there and doing physical therapy was like I wasn't gaining as much as I needed. Um, because of taking the bus and the noise and everything, the stress of it,
Mhm.
crowds. I was afraid of crowds. I was recovering from some of the trauma.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, New York just in its own existence is sensory overload. So, yeah, that I was thinking about that as you were in your recovery. And so y- I know we worked you worked together with the reactive team in 2024. How that was about 3 years later, right? So, how was it that you found reactive and what drew you across the country? We're literally on the opposite side of the country for you.
yeah, well, I'm a total LA convert, and your team can attest to that. I loved being there. Um, So it was quite a journey, where I was doing really well and then I wasn't
Mm,
doing well. And there were months, like I mentioned, that I was okay, and then months I was really not. So I was just doing my own research. I started somatic experiencing therapy, which I would highly recommend, which is a therapy that helps to release trauma, and helps to regulate the nervous system. I came across Instagram accounts. Molly Parker was very help critical in this journey, where I took a course that she offered on nervous system regulation and concussion recovery. She had a video series. My biggest challenge was getting back to exercise, just being physical. Like I couldn't even
mm,
walk a lot. I eventually did because of exposure therapy in New York City. You have to. But I was a very active person in terms
mm.
of hiking and exercising. So she offered Brittany, who works at Reactive and is brilliant, a concussion specialist. She had some exercises that she offered in this
Yeah.
course. And I called Brittany. She took my call. We had like a consultation, and I just knew immediately. I immediately signed up
Mm,
because she was so detail oriented. She was empathetic. She gave practical recommendations and just heard you, like that empathy and also that holistic um, advice that she was providing. So that's how I
mm.
found Reactive. And during the course, I asked a few people if they had used your services, and they said that it was a great it was a great program. So I literally, my gut was like, just do it, and I just signed up immediately.
And now you're an LA convert. I didn't realize that. Now, now that you spent, I think it was 5 weeks with us, what what changes have you noticed since doing our program?
Um, I have noticed that I know how to regulate my nervous system much better.
Mhm.
And I've also learned, I mean, I've learned so much, so many tools and strategies. And so that I've noticed that I can manage my energy better during the day
Yeah.
and when I might be giving too much energy, and when I need to conserve it, when I need to take breaks. I am able to exercise again, which is the major thing that I went for, and just having that confidence to do that. Unfortunately, my lower back is not allowing me to do the exercises I want, but that's something else. And the change I've also noticed is confidence. I think that
Yeah.
could be underestimated, but I do think that confidence can be very helpful in moving forward. Um, so yeah, I'll stop there.
Yeah. No, that's huge. I know a lot of people don't want to get back to exercise and activity. So, and you're right, confidence, I think, is probably a cornerstone of getting back to things in life. And you worked with our team. So I wonder, what are some of the, highlights or some of your favorite things of working with an integrated team like ours?
Well, I loved your team. I mean, they each of them, and I had such a large team, which was great because there were also students there helping them. So I got different perspectives from the team, but it wasn't overwhelming, and it was done in a really, like you said, integrated and holistic manner. And I found them very practical. Like all the
Mm.
exercises was not just the exercises I wanted or we aimed for, but also practical. Like, can this help me go grocery shopping in New York and
Oh,
carry heavy bags, for instance, right? Or like help me lift
yeah.
something. And there were like little tips that they would give me, and there is, like also really detail oriented, like anatomically.
Mm.
So each of the people I worked with, came with their own specialty as well, whether it was Harrison or Emily or Leanne or Brittany, as well as the students. And sometimes I'd be like, I was staying in Hermosa Beach, and I was like, I used to play volleyball. Is there a way we can incorporate that? They're like, sure. And I was like, I love music, and they were like, let's play something not to, some songs you like, not to overwhelm you. And so that would be like really helpful. Going into occupational therapy with Leanne, I've told her, was like getting a warm hug
Aw.
every day. Just, and it's really because they were listening, and they were also meeting about me. So really adjusting where it needed adjustment, and also believing in me. I just felt like I had fans, like fans and supporters going into an environment every day where you feel seen, and you are really taken care of. You're really, yeah, you feel very taken. I felt very taken care of and very well supported. And also, what I liked was that uh, the majority. The majority of my team were also people of color, and as a woman of color, it's it was important. It was important to
Mhm.
me. I didn't expect it, but it was very helpful. And I am of course I am a privileged woman of color, but I nonetheless did face obstacles navigating the system, the healthcare system in New York, and I also had different um, experiences. So having that team was really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, and well, we are big fans, Maha. And you, like, Brittany keeps sharing videos too of some of the fun things that you were doing to get back to exercise, and is very creative. I love watching all of it. And what is something that maybe you've kind of taken home or taken into your everyday life that you've learned about your brain and body through the program?
This is going to sound cheesy, but and I think I may have been on this path, having done somatic experiencing therapy as well, but it's that gratitude actually
Mhm.
for the brain wanting to heal,
Mhm.
and the gratitude for your brain and body in that. when given the tools and strategies, you are able to move forward. It's not easy. I'm not saying that like I can exercise and I'm not experiencing symptoms, or I'm like symptom free. But what I've taken with me, and I think that goes to the change, the confidence is really that sort of gratitude. But then obviously like very practical skills like screen sensitivity. I do the Pomodoro timer of like 20 minutes. That's something that, OT was helpful with. And Brittany as well. And then I'm also, there was like a sleep routine that we had come up with. That was a worst part about OT. There are many good parts, but it can be challenging. But understanding what are my limits? Am I
Mhm.
really setting myself up for success today if I am doing X, Y, Z, or how do I really plan my day tomorrow? And then even like if I'm out on the street and I'm carrying a heavy bag, I was having challenges with that.
Mhm.
I remember some of the exercises that the team gave me. Like you said, it was really creative, but just understanding my body more, understanding what helps me more. So for instance, having that sensory input is so helpful in movement. I did not know that at all. And I didn't think that like having a weight next to me if I'm going to do a squat is so much better for me. Or working on my balance, or having the ice roller, whatever.
Yes, yes.
That right, that feels really nice. And so I take breaks and I do that. And so again, it's like these tools and tips that I still have with me. And you guys gave me a document as well, for routine and nervous system regulation tips that I still use. I've printed them out. And I'm still in touch with the team. Sometimes I have questions and they're happy to respond to me. And so I think that shows a level of dedication and professionalism that they have. And now I've totally forgotten what your original
No,
question was.
well, because you brought in such great detail, which was really about what you've learned about your brain and body, and taken into every day. Something I really appreciate, Maha, is even when we scheduled this, was you knew the times of the day that were best for you, how long you might be on a screen for this, and to me, that was just so impressive. I've been thinking about it ever since we talked, Maha, because I was like, I think I could do this a little better for myself. So I just want to say I'm learning from you as I do from the people we interact with all the time. Um and and I think many clinicians could be learning from you. We have people with brain injuries, we have clinicians who watch and share these videos, and I wonder what you might share with another healthcare professional about their approach maybe for working with somebody post concussion or after brain injury.
That's a good question. And I think many of your viewers are probably already inclined to want to help their patients in a more holistic way. But if not, I would say I would really um, implore clinicians and practitioners to listen to us, like truly listen, and help us feel seen. Sometimes we may say, um, we'll give you so many details and like our own theories of what might make us feel better or what makes us worse, and just hear us out and provide us that space and that empathy to work with us, and also help educate us as well on what we might expect, and how soon we might really need treatment. Like I didn't
Mhm.
receive, I'm lucky I received vision therapy and vestibular therapy a few months after, but it was still a few months,
Mm.
right? Like I still had to like, I was like, I don't feel well. I don't know what's happening, right? And I eventually found providers. Um, but with reactive, I didn't know you existed until I took a course 2 years later, right?
Mhm.
So it's really around I know education can also be overwhelming, which is why I wasn't looking at Instagram accounts. I mean, I had screen sensitivity and I didn't want to be overwhelmed by information, so I did it when I was ready. So is there a way clinicians can provide us that information without one overwhelming us, but really on time? Can you work with major
Ah,
hospitals to provide that information to us? Now, at the same time, it's expensive. Like you have to have health insurance. That's a whole systemic issue anyway in this country. Um, but how, for marginalized communities, what I loved about your program is you gave me a scholarship because I was unemployed. I'm partly employed now. I'm on Medicaid. It's not easy.
mhm.
And so you provided me a scholarship that enabled me to attend, which I'm so grateful for. So anyway, I think for clinicians, just thinking about, the individualized, tailored approaches, but really that education, believing in us, and working with us to like understand what's happening. It feels like there is more research coming out about TBIs or post-concussion symptoms, like it's being more recognized. But I shouldn't have to do all the research myself. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other
Yeah.
things, but that's
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel like you lit a fire under my under me to be like, yes, we need to share this more, we need to educate more. And there are so many great clinicians working with people, and I think we should all get a little fired up to share and educate more on what somebody can do and the timing of that. I really heard that from you. um and you mentioned you have started working again, and I'm curious about life now, and maybe what practices you're still keeping up to keep living well on this journey.
Yeah, and your team actually suggested that I start with part-time work or like a consultancy because I wasn't working at the time
Hmm.
when I joined Reactive, and I would really recommend if someone is doing an intensive, if they can, if they're in a position to not work, because I was just able to really focus on my healing, and it was healing my body and I would say my spirit as well. And um, and I was afraid, how do I go in from this honeymoon period where I'm with a great team and I was also near a beach to working. So easing into work was I think has been helpful. So I have
Mm-hmm.
been lucky in that way. Obviously, it has financial implications, so that's another story that is stressful. Um, so what I've been able to do is use like the Pomodoro timer technique of like 25 minutes and then take a break. I'm not always very good at it, but I try to do that. I try to do regulation before and after. Sometimes I don't always do that, depending on where I am. I also try to recognize what states I'm in terms of my nervous system. Like if I'm like really stressed, what can I do to relieve it? And then in terms of exercise, like I'm still doing the home care program that was sent to me and trying to play with it. But I was in touch with the therapist about, we've tried it in the morning, we tried it in the afternoon, really working around my screen time and
Hmm.
knowing the day that I have,
Hmm.
because I can't really do physical exercise in the morning and then be on the screen. That's just too much for
Hmm.
me. And so, one thing I learned and what your team was also telling me is that, I was tapping into my intuition. And so our body actually has that wisdom. We just need that guidance from other people. So I am tapping into my own wisdom that my body is telling me like this is going to be a lot. So like really not pushing myself. That's another thing that I also learned. I believe it goes back to that confidence of knowing, yeah, there's limitations that I have, and that's okay.
Hmm.
But how do I work with what I have, and then how do you push yourself a little bit more? So I have certain schedules for my work, and then for my exercise, and then obviously my outlets as well. Like I went to a dance party 2 weeks ago. It was really fun. Um, and then I was like really tired the next day, which I knew. So I
Yeah.
planned not to do much. But then the next day I was able to, I walked like 10,000 steps the next day, but then I was shattered on Sunday and I was like, okay, I can't
Yeah.
do that, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it's having that ability to like test now that I've gone through Reactive's program.
Yeah, I hear from you this kind of inner confidence, this knowing and understanding that is all of us humans could use to navigate life. But I don't know if you already told our team that you did a dance party, but I cannot wait to share that with them. That it just sounds so fun, Maha.
Yeah,
Uh,
you can tell Leanne, she told me like try it and then take a break. And I did have to take a break and I didn't feel so great, but then
yeah,
I went back in and then I recognized my limits, right? I
yeah.
was like, okay, I've had fun, I need to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's so awesome. Maha, I just want to thank you so much for sharing all of this wisdom that you've learned and gained and grown in confidence with. I just think it's such a powerful message for what is possible after a brain injury. And you know we will keep cheering you on as you keep going too. Yeah, once a part of Reactive, it's like you're always a part of us. So we'll be cheering you on and checking in. And but thank you for your messages today. I think it's really appreciated.
Of course, thank you. And yeah, happy to answer any other questions anyone else or you might have at, today or a later point. But I also really appreciated coming to California and also the other services. Like when I was there, we had that call with Mike, and I don't remember his last name
Yeah,
right now.
Mike
Um,
Studer. That was
yeah,
like that one is seared in my memory, Maha. Because um you were really at through your own therapy educating so many clinicians in that time. I had almost forgotten about that. But yeah, that was my first interaction with you actually that night we did that.
yeah,
And
yeah, that was fun. I was really nervous, but he was really great. It didn't feel like he was, it didn't feel like he was really putting me, at the putting me, I forget, on the spot, and like he just like worked with me, yeah, it was so having these, additional opportunities was
Mhm.
very helpful as well, and I appreciate your team for thinking of me for that.
Yeah. I mean, and it was a treat for our team to have that like mentoring too. Mike Studer is a leader in this field, and so it's like you got a little reactive bonus there with
You gave me
with
the book
that.
for free on the giveaway, so I've read it as
That's
well.
right. That's right. Yes. And we had one comment here. Thank you very much for sharing. Very impressive. So I agree. So Maha, thank you so much for sharing, for your advocacy for this month, for Brain Injury Awareness Month. And I look forward to staying in touch too.
Yeah, thank you. And just one last thing I
Yeah.
forgot to say, like in New York, I'm part of like a support group for TBI, which I found late. But if people can find those, like I'm part of NYU Langone Hospital here, they have a TBI support group. They're meeting right now, actually. From Molly's course, we created a New York WhatsApp group. There is, yeah, so that's just really helpful to talk to people and be like, wow, I'm not alone. They
Yeah.
also experience this. And then I learned things like in the New York summer, it's really hot on the subway. I thought I was gonna pass out all the time, and someone's like, oh, why don't you get those like headphone fans? Save my life.
Oh, fabulous. Yeah, you know what? I will link to Molly Parker and her group when we post this. Is there a link on Instagram to the support group as well
I
that we
don't
could share, Maha?
think so. I
Okay.
don't think so. To the Langone one?
Yeah.
No, it's just I think most hospitals have them. Mount Sinai
Okay.
might, and others. I think they all have support groups.
Yeah. It's a good message, the community, and to not feel alone in your experience and symptoms is really powerful. So thank you again, Maha. I
Welcome. Thank you.
appreciate you and have a great rest of your
Thank
day too.
you. You
Okay,
as well. Bye bye.
bye.